Does free will exist according to Islam? Yes, absolutely. We have the freedom to choose between good and evil. God says in the Quran, I have indeed given humanity a choice, the right and the wrong. So we have the ability to choose, but we don't have the freedom to do whatever we want.
Oh,
Our actions are limited by physical laws and moral boundaries. For example, we can't just snap our fingers and create something out of nothing, because that would violate the law of conservation of mass. And we can't harm others just because we feel like it, because that would violate the law of human rights. But doesn't God also know what we're going to do before we do it?
Yes, that's true.
God knows everything, but that doesn't mean we don't have free will. God knows we'll choose to eat an apple if we offer it to you. But when you offer the apple, you still ask, do you want it? Because you know that you could say no. Similarly, God knows that we will sin, but he still asks us to not sin. He tells us not to steal, not to cheat, not to lie. He gives us commands and makes promises. He allows us to choose between heaven and hell. All of this points to the fact that we have free will. How about predestination? Isn't that the opposite of free will? Predestination is the idea that God has already decided who will go to heaven and who will go to hell. The decision is based on factors beyond our control, like our parents' choices or the time and place we were born. Now, if that were true, then we wouldn't have free will, because our choices wouldn't matter. But the concept of predestination doesn't exist in Islam. We believe that only God knows what will happen in the future. But that doesn't mean he has predetermined anything. It just means he has knowledge of all possibilities and their outcomes. He knows what will happen if this happens, and what will happen if this happens. That's how he knows the hadith, which means the course of human events. But that doesn't mean he controls the hadith. He's just aware of it. So to sum up, we have free will according to Islam. We can choose good or evil, heaven or hell, faith or disbelief. The Quran says, I have created humanity in the best of forms, and none shall know the course of humanity except those who have earned some knowledge. Indeed, God will admit whom he wills to his mercy, and he is the most merciful of the merciful. This verse shows us that we have the ability to choose our path, but only God knows where that path will lead us. Now let's look at Christianity. Does free will exist according to Christianity? Yes, absolutely. We have the freedom to choose between sin and righteousness, hell and salvation, unbelief and faith. Jesus says in the Bible, I am the way, the truth, and the life. This verse shows us that we have the ability to follow Jesus and choose eternal life, or we can choose to reject him and face the consequences. Christians believe that God gave us free will so we could love him and serve him willingly. It's not because he knew we would choose one way or another. It's because he gave us the ability to make that choice. Here's another quote from Jesus that talks about free will. He who has this command has life eternal and does not come into judgment, but he who does not have it on that account. He is judged because he has rejected the Son of God, that he might be judged. This verse shows us that we have the ability to accept Jesus and have eternal life, or we can reject him and face judgment. Christians believe that God isn't the author of evil. He doesn't force anyone to sin. He doesn't force anyone to believe in him. He respects our free will and our ability to choose. Now let's look at other religions and philosophies. Does free will exist according to other religions? The answer varies. Some religions, like Hinduism, believe that we have free will within the limits of our karma. Our actions have consequences, and those consequences shape our future. Other religions, like Buddhism, believe that we are controlled by our desires and our past experiences. We do have free will because everything we do is driven by our craving for pleasure and our aversion to pain. As for philosophies, some, like existentialism, believe that we have absolute free will. We can do whatever we want, whenever we want, without any limitations. Others, like determinism, believe that we don't have free will. Everything we do is predetermined by factors beyond our control, like our genetics, our environment, and our past experiences. So the question is, which view is correct? I'll leave that for you to decide. I've presented the Islamic and Christian perspectives, and you can take what you've learned from this lesson and apply it to your own beliefs and experiences. Just remember that the most important thing is to submit your will to the will of God. whether you believe you have free will or not. If you do, then use your free will to choose what is right. And if you don't, then seek help from God to overcome the limitations that are preventing you from choosing what is right. In either case, the goal is the same: to live a righteous life and earn the pleasure of God. Thank you for watching this lesson. If you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends and family and subscribe for more. Until next time, may peace be upon you.